Thank you guys for joining us, and yes, I'm adopted. Don't make it weird with Brett and Davo. We're super excited to be back. Last week, we talked about why we hate to practice, but it's so essential to be able to practice, because if you did actually take Davo's advice and go look at our first vlog, you'll see why. Practice is essential.
We apologize.
Oh my gosh. It's so bad. It's just so bad.
Sorry.
But we've gotten a lot of questions over the last couple weeks asking why it is that we started the channel, and do we wish that we had something like Yes, I'm Adopted, Don't Make It Weird when we were kids. Too Long Didn't Read version?
No.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for joining us on today's episode.
I don't know that as adoptees, there's ever a point where I would have been like, oh man, I want to watch two guys in their 30s explain what their childhoods were like so that I could watch them drink tea.
Tea.
I guess I won't ever know because it's never come up for me in my childhood.
But the internet wasn't something that we had access to as kids.
We are older than the internet.
Right.
That's correct.
You know, back in the day when we were kids, it was like, like really annoying noises.
I remember our first modem.
Yeah. Dude, it was awful. Like, not ours together, because we're not brothers.
No. That's a different episode.
Hot tea. Ow! I'm okay. So, we're going to talk to you a little bit today on our reasoning with starting this channel. And again, like Davo said, as little kids, it wouldn't have mattered nearly as much, but kind of into that high school, college age is when we really started getting curious. So, I mean, yeah, when I was a kid, I never would have watched this, right? I was too busy playing Nintendo, breaking into my neighbor's house because they bought a Nintendo and I didn't have one while they were gone, and just sitting there and playing Nintendo while they're gone. True story.
Did your neighbors watch the show?
I don't know, because I don't remember my neighbors' names. Yeah. I don't remember
good
their
neighbors. During the different phases in my life, I can think of different times where, like, really, it would be less about seeing, getting advice from older adoptees and more about just knowing that it's just not only me.
Right, there's others out there.
There are others out there, and not only that, they turn out okay. So, like, that's kind of been the major...
That's a big one.
The major reason behind why we started doing this in the first place is just to, hey, look, like, we're pretty happy, I think.
I'm happy.
I'm happy.
I burn my tongue, though.
Except when we burn our tongues on the tea. Generally, we're pretty happy. We're pretty content. We like the lives that we live. Yeah. And we also happen to be adoptees. And so to be able to have seen that, and just know that that's out there, right? As a kid, would have provided a baseline that we didn't have.
Yeah,
so there was no baseline experience for, like, this is what an adoptee turns out like.
Right.
If you're Asian and raised by white people, like that, you know, there is.
How are you supposed to act when you go to a Chinese restaurant? Like, we got a comment last week, talking about they're watching the video with their 10-year-old son.
Right.
And, you know, they just pointed, like, to their mom or talked to them. It was like, hey, that's me! Because we were talking about hating practicing and, you know, it pertaining to adoption and all the trauma stuff. But it's really cool to be able to see that there are young people out there who are watching this. And I think as a kid, that's something that I could have gotten behind a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, like, you know, the two weird, strange guys talking at a camera. But, like, that part would have been a little strange to me. But like you said, just to know that there's other people out there that have gone through the process and are on the other side of it, I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We also got a comment in from somebody that said that they sent a link to our videos to, like, their teenage or 20-year-old children and said this is funny. And they sent back, well, Mom, if you think it's funny, we won't think it's funny.
That would have been
me. That was really funny.
That would have been me as, like, a teenager right there. That's me.
You thought this was good? Not watching it.
I don't even care anymore. You lost my interest by sending me this link. If I found it on my own, I probably would have watched it.
Elementary school, I mean, it's whatever because we're breaking into our neighbors' houses to play video games.
Yeah.
Middle school, I think I was so angsty that it would have been difficult to get me to pay attention to anything anyway because I was full of the angst.
Right. Yeah, I get that. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Like, middle school is when a lot of stuff happens that regardless of being adopted, that's kind of when it all goes down. But we've talked about this on the YouTube channel before, and we'll probably come back to it. But, like, middle school and adolescence is where crap really happens.
Yeah.
And
Everything.
I know that I would not have been in a point or at a place at that point to accept any sort of like outside help.
No,
Right.
not even a little bit.
That
Somebody
would've been
comes to
rough.
try to help. They're invading your personal space. They're getting nosy and too involved. Or there's a problem with you in your mind, which is why they're trying to come and help, which makes you not want to receive help.
Because you receive that as criticism anyway.
Yeah.
So, too bad.
Woohoo!
High school is not much better,
Hmm.
but it's a lot more independent.
Yeah.
So I'm just not going to accept anything from anybody because I'm being
Right.
independent-ish.
Ish.
And then in college, I think I would have liked us.
In college, yeah, something like this, something like what it is that we're aspiring to create is where I would have actually started paying attention, because that's when I really started questioning who I am based on my past. And going forward, with families, like my wife and I, we were engaged at that time. And, it's like, okay, so if we have kids, how are they going to be? I was going through all the medical garbage. We've talked a little bit about that. It's just a lot of things come up in that college age where you're really defining what your future looks like. And in order to do that, a lot of the times we have to reflect on our past. So that's where I really would have started to connect with something like this. But again, we never had anything like this.
Right. This is kind of new ground, all things considered.
Yeah.
Like, there's not. I don't know. I don't know anybody else that's doing what we're doing.
Right.
We've encouraged some people to do their own version of what we're doing, and if you are planning on it, we want to talk to you
Do it.
and absolutely help
Do
you do that.
it. I
Just
don't
near
know which camera
two.
to point at.
Do
Camera
it,
2.
Do it, camera 2.
Yeah, do it. All you people who are watching that are wanting to start this, like, we've received a lot of those comments and messages. Hey, we wish that we started something like this, or hey, how do we get on board with what it is that you guys are doing? And honestly, for us, it was I took a camera with us to go eat lunch, and then we made some racist jokes. And that's how the whole thing started.
Not the same.
They're not the same.
Don't look alike.
No.
Don't sound the same.
No.
Brett has these weird, massive shoulders. I don't really understand. So you too can be awkward and terrible and start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then move over to Facebook and make a thing too. Congratulations.
For all of those who are out there that are watching that would love to be able to get involved or love to be able to tell your own story, do it. Like, it's not that difficult. A lot of the times it just takes the courage to get out there. Like, we've talked about this, but as adoptees, we kind of tend to be more of the wallflower. We want to blend in. We don't want to stand out. We want people to just think of us as normal. But with nowadays technology, it's real easy for us to just whip out our phones and then just do this and just start talking about your story. Because there's other people out there that need to know. And that's, I think, what I'm starting to come to grips with. Like, even now, like, in our, I don't know, like, 58th episode or something of the show. By the way, if you haven't checked out our old episodes, go to YouTube. We will throw a link in the description above. So make sure you guys go check that out. But it's not physical. Like,
for the
you
link.
can't see it.
That's
I
disappointing.
have to deal with this all the time. In our 50-something episode, like, we've hit on a lot of different topics and a lot of conversation points, but it's really starting to kick into me now that there are others out there that need to hear the story or the things that we've gone through. And I have, like, kind of just, I haven't really thought that much of it, to be quite honest, for the longest time. I never thought my story was anything incredible. I never thought that I really was, just like, hey, I could help these people out or anything by just telling stories about my childhood. That never occurred to me. But apparently it's resonating with some people, so thank you.
Yeah, it's still weird.
It is weird,
It's a little bit weird.
right?
We've really enjoyed the surprise it's been to get other people's stories and to hear what you have to say.
That's
and,
huge.
And to hear just that we are having an impact, and that's been really gratifying and humbling and honestly very strange. I think that by the time we got to our late 20s, early 30s, we're at a point where we were saying, okay, I can now reconcile who I am with who I've been, and that maybe has value to somebody else. And now I'm also at a point where I think I've got the maturity to be able to say, yes, I hear your story, and it makes sense, and I'm there with you, and I actually sympathize and empathize with your position. Whereas a teenage me would have just been like, why are you telling me this? Wait,
What do you want?
Why are you sending me emails
You,
right now?
do you want a sportsmanship award? Is that it, little buddy?
Here's your participation
Yeah, there
trophy.
you go.
You're adopted.
Oh, we should get some of your adopted ribbons made up.
However, I will say, and because the vast majority of our viewership is this, my parents, I think, really would have benefited from this channel.
Yes.
And I think my mom would have loved to have seen what we're doing today, and would have benefited from
Right.
seeing somebody else present these stories, present these ideas.
Right.
But partially the technology wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Partially the culture wasn't necessarily there.
Yep.
And partially, honestly, the research hadn't been done yet when we were born.
Right.
So now is the time. Now is the time that we get to bring these things up, and we're glad to do so. And we're glad to be here. As far as what it would have been like to have had us then, I mean, I
Man,
don't.
we could have sent out like VHS tapes in like the 90s to
Oh.
people. So that's it for today's episode. I mean, it's not something that you're probably going to go out and share to 100 million people to check out, but that's why we do it. And this is a question that people have been asking here for a little while. You know, do you wish you had something, and why do you continue making these channels? And that's it in a nutshell.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments here, or also on our group that was just mentioned. And we want to encourage you. We want to encourage the adoptees that are out there, or the parents that are out there, or really whoever that is out there that believes that you need to share your story. Do it. Get out your phone and make something terrible, and just keep making it until it gets slightly better.
Yeah.
That's been our process, and it's been coming along. We have camera 2 now, so I mean, you know, that's
Camera
an
2.
improvement over
And
what
an
it
intern
was,
behind
and a pseudo intern that has yet to get me a beverage. But you know, whatever. You got to work up to it, is what I'm saying.
So thank you guys for joining us today on Yes, I'm Adopted. Don't make it weird. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel to find all those videos mentioned earlier. And then make sure to go to Facebook and like our page. We are at over 1,150 people now. It's growing. We love it. We're having a lot of fun making these videos, and it's really encouraging for us that you guys are watching. So thank you again. Make sure to follow us for the weekend update on Facebook. We'll see you there. Catchy outro. Ready, go.
Outro time.
Outro.
It's going out.
Wait, should I like do a beat? Come on, Davo. Adoption.